happy that you've joined us. Today is a very special day for the World Creativity and Innovation Week and the Creativity and Innovation Day. The reason is that the 21st of April of each year, we are actually celebrating the World Creativity and Innovation Day specifically. Now, the UN actually designated this special day for people to actually celebrate creativity and innovation, and also to realize that it is very important for us to move forward. Now, the World Creativity and Innovation Day was founded by Marcy Segal in Canada. The reason why was that she realized that creativity is so important. She founded it in 2001. This year, we are actually celebrating the 21st year that the World Creativity and Innovation Week and the World Creativity and Innovation Day actually exist. So you can see that we celebrated this for a long time. Currently, there are 121 countries that are celebrating this special day, as well as the special week. The World Creativity and Innovation Week and the World Creativity and Innovation Day is situated in the Miami University in Oxford, Ohio. They are actually managing it, and we can see it as the head office of the World Creativity and Innovation Week and the World Creativity and Innovation Day. Just a few quotes that I would like to start off with before we go to our two distinguished guests from France. Just two quotes from Steve Jobs. Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. If you looked at the first webinar, you've realized that to be creative, you also need transformational leadership. Albert Einstein said that the true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. And I would like to add to that. It's not only imagination, but it is creativity, and then turning that creativity and innovation into something that we can add as value and also something that people will appreciate. Now, I would like to present to you our two special guests. And as I said, they are very distinguished and we are looking forward in having them. But before that, I would like to share some information about them. And I'm actually going to read what they supplied to me. Jean-François THIRIET lived with his family in Bessacan. I don't know if that is pronounced correctly, on the eastern part of France. At age 49, he is the founder of the Mastermind Business Academy and the developer of the Generative Mastermind model and the MBA index that help people launch their generative mastermind groups successfully. Wow, what a mouthful, but it looks good from my side. His vision of mastermind group is a mastermind group for all, and for each a mastermind group lead him to create the Mastermind Business Academy that delivers online and worldwide training for coaches, trainers, consultants who want to certify themselves as a master facilitator. When I read this, I actually said, I want to subscribe to this to become a master facilitator.
You are very welcome.
Jean-François is also trained and certified as a coaching supervisor, collective intelligence facilitator, mediator, and executive coach. As a facilitator, he uses body and metaphorical and emotional intelligence in his workshops to help his clients think out of the box of their cognitive mind, something he has learned from the martial arts practice and from his mentors for 30 years. He also added a website, and I would like to share that with you in the post later on.
Thank you.
Now, Elisabeth Falcone. Elisabeth lives in the south of France and works internationally as a generative coach, consultant, facilitator, and master teacher in neuro-linguistic programming. I must say again, what a mouthful. It sounds awesome. She is part of the leadership team of Robert Dult and co-write with him Gilles Roy and Isabel Mays the Perry Keogh book. I hope I pronounce you.
Yes, thanks.
The teams and organizations develop your capacity for collective intelligence. She developed a team profile and trains and certifies in its use. She's also one of the co-authors of François THIRIET on generative consulting, tools for creativity, consciousness, and collective transformation. Wow. I hope my CV looks like this one day. Elisabeth began her career as a management controller in national and international groups, which enabled her to understand the global functioning of organizations and the various levers and brakes involved. She's always been passionate about creating bridges between individuals and people, the humanities and social sciences, and neurosciences. And she evolved very early in sectors for the high level of diversity, like intercultural parity, generative equity, and disability. What a good job this is. Convinced that the greatest wealth and fragility of any organization is its human capital, she created a global approach for each individual and collective. And this is toward the best version of oneself, to help them boost their performance and realize their call. So, co-created with François THIRIET is an open source named the Meta-We Index. And that was actually a very interesting thing when I read this as well. I was like, I need to go and look at this. And this specific index measures individual capacity for collective intelligence. Contributing to his book, belonging to the team and meeting as many wonderful people as you are also wonderful, by the way, on this unexpected journey and infinite gratitude. So thank you so much for this. So we can really see that you are renowned and you are very special people. So I'm going to hand over to you. And yes, we are looking forward in hearing from you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ziska. Thank you all. So hi, everybody, and happy birthday to creativity and innovation. This is all our birthday, and it's all our birthright to be creative and innovative, not only today, but every day of the year. So welcome to this presentation, and hopefully by the end of this presentation, you will learn and experiment and apply how to create more generative collaborations when you are collaborating with a group, in a team, in an organization. And both Elisabeth and I are here to deliver this presentation in hopefully a more experiential way, so that you get a sense of what it feels like to move from collaboration to generative collaborations.
And being generative means you have to have your filters opened. So we will accompany you through some exercise to open your filters, to connect to your different intelligences and to ourselves between this field.
So first idea we would like to express is that as it's experiential, you are free to follow along as much as you want. And also you are free to not follow along. That's part of the freedom of participation we want to implement in this workshop. We also want benevolence to be part of our field, because for some of you, it's going to be maybe unusual, out of the box. It might be also out of your comfort zone. So benevolence towards yourself, towards others, as it's not familiar for some of you, is really required. The third one is we are going to co-create something that we've never done before, and you'll see what it means when we talk about generativity. So we'll see what emerges during this workshop as well. And fourth, of course, be playful out, because the more you are involved, the more you get to feel that for yourself, the more you'll be able to feel in your muscles how generative collaboration works. So that's the frame we'd like to set for this presentation.
And maybe we will invite you to stand up to make some little exercise with your body. So we hope that you have some kind of space around you and that you can move. Maybe if you are 1 or 2 meters, it is enough, of course.
So we have 7 ideas for you today. The first one is that innovation for us is the ability to be generative. To be generative means to give birth to something new, to something that was not there before. That's the same roots as Genesis, to give birth to something. And the idea of innovation being about generativity is that the whole solutions that existed before may not work today. And if we want to use the solution from the past and apply these solutions from the past, they may not work anymore in our volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world.
And I think you know that it is very important nowadays, after or in this COVID lockdown, or after this COVID lockdown, we can no longer act and think as we thought yesterday.
Yeah. So innovation is the ability for us to be generative. So the second idea now, to be generative for us means to be in a generative state collectively. That means that when you are collaborating with a group, in a team, in an organization, the ability to be generative depends on the state of the people that are present to the meeting, to the workshop, to the seminar, in order to be innovative. So this is something that is not quite usual. Take care of the state of your participants, because this ability to be generative and innovative is state dependent.
Yes, it is really a way of being and not a way of doing. And we need to be nowadays to be in a generative state. And if we want to be generative together collectively, we need to be in a generative way as individuals.
And you all know that already. You know that you are being creative and innovative when you are in a different state. And sometimes we say, the idea came and then I was in a state of, and for us, it's the other way around. You create the state first, and then innovation and creativity can come up. And what's interesting for us to share with you is that what are the odds to be creative when you are contracted in your body? What are the odds that you are creative and innovative if you are reactive to the situation, just like in an emergency state or a stress state? What are the odds that you can be creative or innovative if you are in an analysis paralysis, thinking over and over and over the same things, and creating that level of contraction in the body, reactiveness, overthinking? And what are the odds of you being creative and innovative if you feel disconnected from the group that you are working with? And if you feel hurt, or if you feel really, disconnected from the topic, disconnected from the people with whom you are working? What are the odds of being creative with that, what we call, Elisabeth and I, the crash state? C being contracted, R being reactive, A being in analysis paralysis, S being separated from the others, separated, disconnected from the vision of the project, and H being hurt inside. And we have something that we call coach state, Elisabeth.
Yes, and we will give you some tips to become aware of what you are feeling in your body. And it is also a way of how do you eat, how do you sleep, how do you take care of yourself? If I sleep 2, 3, 4 hours by night, I can be with you in a well-being way. I will feel separated. I will feel in crash state. So we don't have time now, but the question is also, how do I take care of myself to be in this coach state? And we will drive you through this coach state. Coach state means, for the first letter, C, center. How are you centered in your body? Maybe can we invite you to stand up, or maybe can you sit down if you prefer? Is it okay, Jean-François?
Sure.
Yeah. So if we invite you to stand up, we will invite you to put your hand on your belly, or to give your attention to your belly, by the inside in your center. We have the picture of a smartphone, of a computer. You can be online or offline. And here the idea is to put you online, to become centered and aware. So I invite you to take maybe 2 or 3 breaths, deep breaths, inside, outside, 2, 3 times. And you can close your eyes, or you can have your eyes opened if you prefer. Take care of yourself, what is comfortable for you. I'm here. This moment is only for me, here in the present. I'm present. Jean-François?
And from that place of being centered, try to find some openness. When you want to be creative and innovative, of course, you have to be centered in yourself to connect to yourself. But you have also to be open. And the state of openness here starts in the chest. How can you create more openness around the chest area with that state of curiosity for what is emerging? So connect to your chest area and open up. And if you want to, you may try to open your arms a little bit to create some more openness around that area of the heart, and connect to the state here of curiosity. What is here? What comes to me? What are my sensations? And move from a state of judgment to a state of curiosity. You can't be curious and judgmental at the same time. You connect to the intention of just being curious to your experience in the here and now. Elisabeth?
And you have to maintain the link between your belly, your center, and your heart. In our belly, we have a brain, we know it nowadays, and in our heart, we have another brain. You have always to maintain this link. And we'll invite you to give your attention to your brain, to your cognitive brain, and to connect your center, your heart, and your brain. The idea of this cognitive intelligence is, what do I feel? What are the noises maybe around me? It is to stay alert in your space, to see what you see, to hear what you hear, to maybe do you have some smell around you or something else, and always with the intention to connect the center, the belly, the heart, emotional intelligence, and the brain, cognitive intelligence.
And from there, as you start to feel more centered, open, and alert to all your senses, now you can connect to your field of resources. What are inspiring resources that you have in yourself or around you? I mean, can you think about something that gives you joy, energy, enthusiasm? Connect to that part of yourself. Could be like for myself, it could be thinking about my children, thinking about my parents. It could be part of thinking about my country, any landscape that is inspiring, any experience that gave me power, energy, passion, joy, or gratitude, and connect yourself to these resources inside of you. The other thing is connect also to your vision. What is your vision of what you want to bring more of in your life and in the life of others? This connection is really key. What do you want to bring more of in your life and in the life of others? This creates a feeling. And this feeling is a biology that flushes all your blood, all your organs with that biology and that level of dopamine and serotonin. When you feel and connect, that's the C, connect to what you want to bring more of in your life and in the life of others. Because once you connect to that level, you'll start to be more creative. Elisabeth?
Yes, and from this place of connection to your center in your belly, to your heart, to this feeling of curiosity, to your mind for this cognitive intelligence, and here where we are connected to all of us, we'll invite you to welcome whatever can emerge now. From this place of coach state, nothing will be a difficulty or a problem. You will be able to welcome with confidence whatever could emerge.
So you see, we came from C, coach state. C stands for centered. O stands for open. A stands for alert with my senses. C starts for connected to what I want to bring more of for myself in my life or for others. And H starts for hospitality, the ability to welcome what is and what emerges. That's what we call creating a generative state. And for us to be innovative is to be generative. And to be generative is to have everybody in the room, in the seminar, in the workshop, in the meeting, in a generative state. that doesn't mean it has to be COACH. That's our way of doing it. But once you want to create a generative state in a room, think about what is the state I want people to be in order for them to be able to be generative, innovative, and creative.
And I'm sure that now, just now, you are feeling something in your body, in your bodies. This is the way you can connect your multiple intelligences to let go through you a gesture or a picture or something that come without words. And we know nowadays that the somatic intelligence, the pictures or the metaphoric intelligence are so much powerful than the words. So from this place, just now, if we invite you to let come a gesture that want to go through you, what should it be? For me, as example, is something like that, to come with you, to be together. It's a way I feel you, I feel our field.
And what Elisabeth is talking about is that innovation for us means the ability to be open to emergence. And for us, the ability to be emergent means tapping into our creative unconscious. And in order to do that, as Elisabeth was explaining, we need to be able to tap into our creative unconscious by being open to our multiple intelligences. And this is key because sometimes, as Einstein was saying, we are trying to solve a problem with the same level that created it. Our understanding of this quote is that we can solve a problem with the same state that created it. That's why we are talking about generative state. But as well, we can't solve a problem with the same intelligence that created it. That means if the problem is created by the cognitive mind, we need to move out of the cognitive mind to explore other intelligences where it's not so linear. And so, as Elisabeth was explaining, we are going to use multiple intelligences. And the one that we would like to explore with you is the somatic intelligence. So for some of you, it might be familiar. For some of you, it might not. So stay curious with the experiment that we want to explore with you.
So, for example, we would like to invite you to think to a situation you want to change. Maybe do you have some difficulty in the present state? And we'd invite you to think to your goal in the future. So we will speak of desire state in the future. We hope that you have some kind of space around you to go through a line time. Maybe if you have only 1 or 2 meters, it is okay. And we will invite you to stand just in a place in the present state. In the present state, my difficulty or the situation I am thinking about is that something you would like to change. And after that, we will invite you to go to the future, in a desire state. And at this point, we will invite you, we will guide you to make some gesture or some picture for your desire state. So please, Jean-François.
Just one thing here, it's about, as we said, it's about being emergent and to be open to emergence. So the idea here is not to think in your cognitive mind about what is my problem state, where I am now, or to think about what is my desired state, how I want it to be. It's more like what comes through me. Again, we are trying to tap into our unconscious, creative unconscious. So it's not about thinking and trying to focus and control, rather to be open to what emerges in that coach state. If you feel centered, open, alert, connected, then you can welcome what comes through you rather than just thinking about what you want and what you consciously think about.
This is very important, what Jean-François is saying. It is not, well, I will do this gesture or this gesture. It is really something is coming through me. Let it go. You're alone. We don't see you, so it's okay.
Yeah. So we will start by having you choose on the floor the room and the space for what we call the present state. That means today, what is the problem like? And then choose what the space on the floor related to how I want it to be, rather than the present state, how I want it to be. So once you have chosen these two spaces on the floor, we are going to start with the present state, Elisabeth.
So we will invite you to make a quick coach state, as we made some minutes earlier. So deep breath, centered, heart, cognitive, connected. And what is the situation you would like to change? And even if you don't know clearly it, you have some kinds of feeling, or you don't feel good, or something is going a little wrong. What is this situation? And feel it in your body, centered, connected to your situation. What is the gesture that is coming through you? For example, for me, it is something like that, because I don't really feel comfortable for a specific situation. So something like that. And I have some kind of dark pictures. It is not very clear, but something black, brown. I let it come through me.
So connect to that gesture and let it come through you, and connect to the emotion of that present state. Just think about what it's like for you right now, that situation, and how it feels in your body, and start to be subtle in the sensations that you have. Like when I'm connected to that present state where I am now, I start to feel some tension in my throat. I start to feel tension in my shoulders, and there is more tension in my shoulders, and they are nearer my ears. And I also feel tightness in my legs, and connect to that state. And you can see that in that present state where I'm now, there is some elements of crash. Of course, there is some crash. There is contraction. The first C, I'm contracted in that present state. How can I be more creative again in that present state if I'm contracted? And of course, it makes sense that I contracted, because what I feel now in that state is a state of fear, is a state of anxiety and apprehension that's where I am now, and I'm connected to that. And being creative and innovative in generative collaborations is to be able to stay with what is first, connect to what is, and then, only then, connect to what could be.
It is really this idea that the obstacles are not on our path, but the obstacles are our path. So we need to be courageous to welcome them and to understand, of course, them. And sometimes people don't know how they can explain their difficulties. And we tell them, well, show us. And they show their present state with the body, with the gesture. So from then, from your present place, we will invite you to go through your desired place. Maybe if you have the place, you can go as long as you don't feel it in your body. I can, so I will go here. It is my future. It is my desired state. And at this point, I don't know why it will be possible, but I feel something like that. Yes, I feel comfortable. I felt stressed. I can breathe. I felt separated. I feel in openness. At the moment, I don't know how it will be possible, but this is the way I will feel in the future, in my desired state.
So having people, just imagine that you have 10 people in a workshop and have them present and have them show to everybody how the problem feels, and to show the problem rather than tell the problem. Telling will come from the cognitive mind rather than having people feel what it feels like. And if you have 10 people doing this, doing this, doing this, then the power of the communication is much greater than just words. We say words can have multiple meanings. When I'm doing this, everyone most likely will understand what it feels like to be in that present state. And what's interesting is that when you use that in a collective setting, you will see some people like that, and you'll see some people like that in the same present state. They don't feel the same thing. And that's creating a very interesting conversation among them around what is the present state. We don't quite feel the same thing in that present state. And sometimes it has to do with the level of hierarchy in the organization. Some people at the bottom sometimes feel like that, whereas some of the senior executives more feel like that. And that creates a very interesting conversation as long as both stay in the coach state. Otherwise, if they go into crash state, the conversation might not be as interesting, rather as defensive, and sometimes that will create some conflict. So again, it's all about the state. If I can share what I feel like with my body, and it's welcomed from a coach state, or if all around me is in a crash state, I won't have the opportunity to share as much. So we won't be able to deal with the real issue because there is fear. The level of trust is not high enough for people to express really the present state. Then,
sorry.
Go ahead, Elisabeth.
I just wanted to share that we know in NLP that first of all, we see each other's. After, we can hear each other's. And maybe after that, we will understand each other's. That's why a gesture is so much powerful than only speaking with our cognitive mind.
Yeah. And so here you are in your present state where you are now. And now as you move towards your desired state, feel what it would feel like or what you would like it to feel like if the problem was no longer here. How would you show that with your body? And for me, it would be that. So that means I will go from that to something that would look like and feel like that.
And maybe, don't you know how you will go from that to that? In this case, we will invite you to make twice or 3, 4, 5 times the path from the present state to the desired state, and be aware of what you are feeling, what comes through you. Maybe a third gesture will come through you, or a picture, something to explain you, to give you tips about how you will do that.
And from here, we invite you to, as Elisabeth was saying, to create what would be, if you go back to the present state, what would be a first step to come from here to here? What would be a first step? Maybe that would be, for me, here, I'm not breathing anymore. I'm totally contracted and I'm not breathing. So the first step would be, can I breathe in that space? And that breath just created some relaxation in my neck and shoulders. And that created a new level of relaxation in my body. And I can ask myself, what would it be like to breathe in that situation? What would that step mean concretely as an action that I could undertake? And then there might be another one could be, I could relax my hands. Oh yeah, I could relax my hands. And you may have seen it, but even me doing that presentation, that relaxing my hands created a breath, an unconscious breath, as I relaxed my hands. And what would that mean to relax my hand in that context? And we could go, as Elisabeth was saying, multiple times, create the path from where you were to where you want to be.
So the mindset is that in the first part, you let the gesture come through you. In the second part, in between the present state and the desired state, you put your attention on your gesture, and at this point you ask yourself, well, and if I try something different, what comes to me, not through you, but to me? And this is a part of the somatic coaching also. The body helps you to become aware of what is at an unconscious level in yourself at the moment.
So that is what tapping into our creative and conscious through multiple intelligences means. And what's interesting is that just imagine if we use these multiple intelligences, let's say you have a meeting and you want people to be more creative, what does that mean concretely? First, we would suggest that you think about state first. What is the state that these people are in? Because you know that when people come into a meeting, they usually are in their previous meeting, or they are already in the next meeting, but not quite present to the meeting they are in. So bringing them to their senses, to their coach state, in the present, in the here and now, and creating a state of flow and taking time to create that level of flow is really key. Because I don't know about you, but so many times we want to be focused on the work rather than being focused on the state in which people work. And we know from experience, Elisabeth and I, that it's all about the state. And it's, I would say, like in banking, state management in creativity is an investment. You invest, and the level of investment that you are able to create as being able to create a high level of flow state, you will get a return on investment that in the work. But sometimes we are too focused on the work and we want to achieve the goal rather than focus on the state. So first, we would like you to have in mind the state that people in your meeting, seminar, workshop are in is really key.
This is really a key point. As said Jean-François, the way you will build the relationship between people, and to build this relationship, we have to take care of ourselves. So you as coach, as manager, as leading a team, you'll have to drive them on how can they become aware of their filters. And when we said first, have our filters opened, this is exactly the way you can have your cognitive, emotional, and somatic intelligence aware, opened.
Yeah, and this is also interesting for you. Again, in the same meeting, once you've taken care of the state, and I would add something here, you will also have taken care of the state of the relationship among people, not just their internal state, but the state of the relationship. Then that's interesting to go through, okay, here is the verbal presentation of the problem state. This is what we don't want. This is what we want less of. And we would like to suggest that you have people explore. Would you have either, if you use visual intelligence, would you have a picture of what the problem looks like? Show us the problem. Like one day I was in an executive committee and they were having some difficulties around their relationships. And I asked them to show me with a drawing what the problem was like for each of them. And then when we put the drawings on the wall, it was very interesting that every participant of the executive committee draw something related to sports. Like most of them was like football team. And the CEO, he was looking at the team like an Amtrak, a train, and he was the leading coach of the train. And when the team saw that, they really understood where the difficulty was coming from. Everyone was playing a game, was playing soccer, and he was on a train, riding the train and being the leading coach of the train. So that's one possibility to use visual intelligence. Or I could have asked, show me with your body what the problem looks like.
Yes, and often when we ask people to tell us about the problem, they don't know, or they take a lot of time, a lot of words, and they feel lost in so many words. So at this point, we invite them to show it in their body. And what is amazing also, sometimes people ask us, but excuse-moi, j'ai osé, dare, to dare. Sorry. Do you dare to invite them?
Okay, I think Elisabeth is frozen, so I'm going to
myself, for Jean-François and I, when we accompanied him together, we never had a negative answer for that. People are happy to live, to be alive, to make something different, to step out of their cognition.
Yeah, and you may have the sense that these multiple intelligences approach creates a sense of play or playfulness, because people play with drawing, they play with their body. And sometimes I even ask people to create like a sculpture with all of them of the problem state, and to create a sculpture with their bodies of the desired state, because sometimes they don't know what the problem is, but sometimes even worse, they don't know their intention, they don't know where they want to go towards. And sometimes just using the body and show as a collective sculpture what it would look like if this problem was solved, that creates a great level of awareness, and that creates a great level of conversations in between the participants of the seminar. So if we want to just summarize our talk today, 2 ideas: connect every part of the participants to their generative state. Again, it doesn't have to be coach state. It's about really creating a level of energy, of flow, of connectedness among them that creates a level open to emergence, innovation, and creativity. Then use multiple intelligences. Don't stay just with verbal intelligence. Rather use, even in the woods, you can bring the nature. You can bring nature into your creative process. We say use your body, but we can use a leaf, we can use a root, we can use a branch, we can use a rock, we can use whatever we found to show with material, with concreteness, with materials that are in our hands. We can show what the problem is, we can show what the solution or the intention or the outcome would be, so that we create quality conversations that are at the core of generative collaborations.
And the main idea here is that you won't have collective intelligence or generative collaboration if each of the individuals in presence are not connected to themselves.
Yeah. So hopefully that makes sense. And we hope you enjoyed bringing your multiple intelligences into action today. I don't know, Siska, if we have sometimes for Q&R, but that would be welcome, of course. And if not, then thank you for your presence. And we wish you, again, a happy birthday for innovation and creativity.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. There is time for questions and answers. So you can ask, and then we will follow in terms of the chats and question and answers, and we will just share it with you.
Sure.
from my side, I don't really have a question because I attended this webinar or workshop during the Kobus Neertling conference, and I found it very insightful because we were a whole group of people and you could actually see what they're going through, the different states of that. So yes, I was also doing the states while you were talking, by the way. And what I realized is that, you know, in my current state, you are really stressed. And it's not because of you, by the way. It is basically just things that happen in your life. And when you said we need to release it in a few, and what it will look like in the future, I could actually breathe and say, oh, really, it feels much better. And the connection between your heart and your stomach and your head and all that was also great. And I actually felt it as well. So I just want to thank you for that. It was really insightful. And yeah, I wish that everybody can be in the different states, but in a good state all the time. So we don't have any questions at this time.
Yes, we have one question in the
we
chat.
Actually have one question. Sorry, I didn't see it. Joseph Navales Placer, is there a free certificate or participation
to this webinar?
I don't think so. I think maybe it's about the certification, maybe what you guys are doing in terms of the multi-level intelligences and so forth. And also what's asked is there a certificate that's for free?
Oh, okay. So Elisabeth and I came to South Africa in February for Kobus Neertling ENCRI conference, and we hope to be there next year as well. So that's where we practice this and share this live. We also have online trainings that we deliver, and no, there are some part of it is free, mostly webinars, and the others are certification that requires a financial investment. So no, you can watch our webinars on YouTube. We share them for free, but the certification is not. Yeah.
All right, now that's a good answer as well. So thank you for that. The Mastermind program as a whole, do you need to have specific certificates to actually show that you have done it? Or is there one certificate, one type of training that will actually train you for this Mastermind?
So the Mastermind Business Academy created some certification around Mastermind Groups facilitation, which is a specific dimension of facilitation. Elisabeth and I have created also a program for what we would say more general facilitation skills. So it really depends on in what setting you want to implement these skills. If you want to create mastermind groups, it's more mastermind group certification. If you want to implement that in teams, organizations, it's more the general certification as facilitator.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
I don't see any chats or questions at this point in time.
Yeah.
But what I want to tell you as well, you've sent some websites and some emails. We will actually post it on our screen so that people can actually access it. And we will also post it on Facebook. I'm just thinking how relaxed I'm feeling, so I can't even concentrate properly. I must show you though. So thank you so much. We really appreciate what you've brought today, and we've learned a lot.
Thank you
all
so
the
much.
best with everything that you are doing, and continue the good work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to all of you.
Take good care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
you.